Good morning, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person that committed that crime. As you stand before me this morning, of course, I presume that you're innocent. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of these proceedings unless and until the State Attorney's Office can prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be, and if you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have the right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me this morning. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Y'all solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Outstanding. When I call your name, please step forward to the podium. Heather Schmidt. Ms. Schmidt, what's your date of birth?
6/11/85.
Heather, you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Toner. He found probable cause for a violation of probation. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself and hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the public defender. Bond on the warrant, of course, is no bond. We'll have you back in front of Judge Toner on the 25th of September. Public defender will come see you before then, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne Brinson. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
12/15/1999.
All right, Ms. Brinson, the charge is aggravated abuse of or neglect of an elderly disabled person. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Represent myself.
Okay. And state what you tell me.
No prior criminal records.
And Joanne, I have an address for you on Woodbury Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
Almost 5 years.
All right. And does Ms. Chesney live there as well?
Yes.
All right. Do you have a job these days?
No.
Very good. All right, I'm going to set your bond at $2,000, Joanne. Condition of the bond is that you'll have no contact with Ms. Chesney. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. You don't contact her through any social media. You don't go where she lives, you don't go where she works, you don't have a third person contact her. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond will be revoked and you'll be held without bond until the charge is resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact, so if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she gets to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She may tell them she's not interested in pursuing this matter. But that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney who's handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they're not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I've got to hold it today up until 4 p.m. so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you might get new charges for violating the injunction. I'm going to have you back in court on the 25th of September. As far as the address on Woodbury Road goes, as long as Ms. Chesney stays there, you'll have to stay someplace else until we get this case resolved. You can go by one time to collect some clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. But in order to accomplish that, you must contact the sheriff's office first. They'd meet you there with a deputy. You'd have a few minutes to grab your things and get going where you're going, all right?
I have one thing to say.
What's that?
I have one thing to say. I don't have nowhere else to go.
Well, you're certainly welcome to stay where you're at as long as it takes to get this resolved. But if you bond out, you can't go back to Woodbury. You'd have to go someplace else, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Caleb Buchanan. Morning, Kayla. What's your date of birth?
2/17/90.
Okay, I've got two issues. First, I have an arrest for driving on a suspended license. There's probable cause for that charge, and then it appears you're currently on felony probation. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So we have a probable cause arrest for a VOP. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. As to the driving on a suspended charge, I'll set the bond at $1,000. That one's coming back on September 20th. The VOP, of course, the bond will be no bond. Where are you on probation? What county?
Hernando.
Okay, did you get sentenced in Hernando? Pasco?
No.
Yeah, our paperwork
Pasco.
says Pasco,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay. So you're just being supervised up here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the bond on that is no bond. So how this will work for you, Kayla, is if you had the ability to bond out on the driving on suspended charge, then they'd send you to Pasco to deal with the VOP. If you don't bond out on the driving charge, then you'll stay here until we get that resolved, and then we'll send you to Pasco, all right?
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ann Fry. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
2/17/83.
And you're here on a charge of organized fraud. There's probable cause for the charge. As to the charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
Let's see. I dropped false to law enforcement in 2017. Guilty to loitering in 2011. And guilty to possession of paraphernalia the same year, and there's a probation violation in 2010. Not sure what that is for. There's a couple FTAs back in 2009, though, as well.
And Ms. Fry, I've got an address for you on Taft Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
Or 5 years now?
Do you have a job these days?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll set your bond at $2,000. I'll have you back in court on the 25th of September. If you get out, it's very important that you go see the public defender. If you can't get out, they'll come see you at the jail. Okay?
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Christina Davis. Morning, Miss Davis. What's your date of birth?
12/13/79.
Davis, you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Merritt. Apparently, you failed to appear in his court in June on 2 charges, a grand theft and providing a false name. Did you have a lawyer on those cases, Christina?
I applied for a public defender.
Okay. Would you like the public defender?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll appoint the PD. Judge Merritt set your bonds at $5,000 on each count. I can't change that, so the total is $10,000. I'm going to send you back to see him on September 19th. They might have told you the 25th, but the right date is the 19th. If you get out, you should go see the public defender right away. If you can't get out, they're going to come see you, okay?
I was incarcerated in Citrus County at the time.
Yeah, that's not uncommon, Christina, and that means you probably will never be charged with the crime of failing to appear. But this is how we get you back on the docket down here, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Danette Gentry.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, miss. What's your date of birth?
6/16/73.
And Danette, you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Toner. He found probable cause for a violation of probation. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Appoint a public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD for you. Bond on the warrant, of course, is no bond. I'll have you back to see Judge Toner on the 25th of September, and the public defender is going to come see you before then, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Gabrielle Price. Morning, Miss Price. What's your date of birth?
3993.
All right, Gabrielle, you're here on a warrant signed by, two warrants signed by Judge Toner. They're both for failing to appear in his court on the 21st of July. 2 counts of grand theft. Did you have a lawyer on those cases, Miss Price?
I think I had a PD appointed.
All right, you want to stay with the PD?
Sure.
Okay. Unfortunately, Judge Toner set your bond at no bond. I can't change that. Go ahead.
Sir, if there's any way, I could maybe take care of my FTA today. I've been incarcerated since the 8th. I bonded out of Pasco County to come up here, and I have court in Pasco on the 12th. I'm going to get an FTA there. And then I got court here on the 25th in the AM, and I got court there on the 25th in the afternoon.
You have people representing you in Pasco now?
I would assume.
Okay, well,
I haven't really got a chance to talk to anybody.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, if there's any way I can get a bond set, I've been incarcerated for almost 30 days now on the FTA. If you can go ahead and handle that now.
Right,
and set me a bond on the felony.
I can't. Ms. Price, these are felony cases. I can't take care of them. At first appearance, I can't change the circuit judge's bond. All I can do is tell you the bond and the court date. We'll make sure that a public defender comes to see you right away, and that's the person who might be able to make arrangements for you to make sure you don't get any further FTAs, okay?
Your Honor, the bit of help we can offer her, she needs to go back to the A docket, which is coming up sooner than the B docket.
We can move it up?
Yep.
What would be the day, Joe?
It has to be before the 12th. I'm sorry.
But it's going to be wherever I said it, obviously, Ms. Price.
I have so much going on.
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm not sure the date on the A
Yeah,
docket.
you got a calendar there?
Yes, I do. A docket is shown, correct?
Yep.
Earliest one.
August, today is the 30th of September. Earliest one, and I'm
Should
sorry.
be 9/11, I think.
Okay,
If
we can go with September 1st, which is tomorrow, that's a B docket, or,
9/11, I think.
okay, or 9/11.
Okay. September 11th is the best I can do, Ms. Price.
All right. Thank you very much.
You bet. Bruce Ussery. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
My real name's Danny McIntosh.
Okay.
And date of birth 6/6/57.
All right. This morning we have 2 charges: disorderly conduct and resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
I represent myself.
You can represent yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State, what can you tell me if you have any?
Let's see. I have 2 sets of convictions. They're both pretty thick. I can tell you there's 9 felony convictions and 6 misdemeanor convictions. So he's pretty familiar with how the court system works. I guess he can represent himself.
And he's got a couple of names.
And a couple of names. I'm making a note that he says his real name is Danny McIntosh, so our office will look into it before we file any information.
Is that one of the names you had?
Yeah, that's one of the names. And then Bruce Usery has a record as well, but it goes by Danny McIntosh. It's got both.
Okay.
It's an alias, apparently.
Okay. And Danny, where do you? I got an address for you on Black Dairy Road in Sefner. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
35 years.
Are you working these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Trim trees.
Okay. I'll leave your bonds per the schedule, which is $500 and $1,000 respectively. That's a total of $1,500. I'll have you back in court on September 20th. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mitchell Thompson. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
12/30/92.
Mitchell, we have 3 charges this morning. I've got possession of methamphetamine with intent, possession of marijuana with intent, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender,
I'll
please.
appoint the PD, Steve.
Let's see. It's an all-pros criminal initiative, 2008. PTI on a petty theft, 2008. That's all I can find right now.
Okay. Mitchell, I've got an address for you on Landover Boulevard in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
About the past year.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No, sir.
All right. On the meth, I'll set the bond at $5,000. On the marijuana, $2,500. On the paraphernalia, $1,000. That's a total of $8,500. We'll have you back in court on the 25th of September. If you get out, it's very important that you go see the public defender. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Stewart. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
11/26/84.
Matthew charges organized fraud. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
I'll go PD, sir.
I'll appoint the public defender, Steve.
Let's see. Worthless check, 2010. A couple of those. One in 2012. Another one, a forgery in 2010. 2 of those. Possession of a controlled substance in 2011. Another uttering a forged instrument, 2012. There seems to be a pattern here. Grand theft in 2016. False to Leo, 2016.
And Matthew, I've got an address for you on Taft Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
I don't know, 4 years.
You have a job these days?
Self-employed.
What do you do?
I work on cars.
Okay. I'll leave the bond per the schedule, which is the $5,000. I'll have you back in court on September 25th. If you get out, make sure you go see the PD, okay?
There's no way we can get it dropped to 2,000, sir?
No, not with your record, I'm afraid. Sorry, Matthew.
All right.
David Crawford. Morning, David. What's your date of birth?
8/12/83.
Okay. I've got 2 issues for you, David. The first is a warrant that I signed. I found probable cause for 1 count of criminal use of personal identification. And then you have a warrant signed by Judge Merritt. 2 warrants, actually, signed by Judge Merritt for failing to appear in his court in January on 3 charges: grand theft, possession of controlled substance, and possession of paraphernalia. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, or would you like the public defender?
I would like to resolve everything today.
I can't do that, unfortunately. These are felony cases, and I'm just a hard-working county court judge, so they don't let me handle these complicated cases. You'll have to get back to Judge Merritt to take care of them, all right?
Alright.
All right, you want the PD?
Yeah, I'll take PD.
I'll appoint the public defender. The bonds on the 3 FTAs are all no bond. So I'll have you back to see Judge Merritt on those
If we could do 9/7.
on the 7th of September. They told you the 25th. We'll have you back on those on the 7th. Can I add the new felony there too?
Might as well, yeah, thanks.
And then on the personal ID case, I'll leave the bond at the 2,000, but then we'll also move that one to 9/7, so that all your cases get there together and you get them all resolved next week. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Sean Hager. Morning, Sean. What's your date of birth?
3/17/83, sir.
Okay, so I've got 3 charges this morning, Sean. I've got a felony driving on a suspended license, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
Let's see. Grand theft, 2009. Petty theft, 2007. Battery, 2011. Petty theft, 2012. Robbery, 2014. And obviously there's a bunch of driving charges that I don't have in front of me, but I'm sure those could be pulled up pretty easily. That's all I can find right now, though, Your Honor.
Sean, I got an address for you on Adams Street in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
No, sir.
Where do you live now?
5224 Delbrook.
Okay.
Spring Hill.
How long have you been there?
4 months.
All right. You have a job these days?
No, sir, not right now. I just do side jobs when I can.
Okay. All right. On the methamphetamine, I'm going to leave your bond at the 2,000. On the paraphernalia, I'll set it at 500, and on the driving charge at 1,000. So your total is 3,500. They're all coming back September 25th. If you get out, make sure you go see the public defender right away. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
September 5th, you said?
September 25th.
Oh, 25th. All right, thank you.
Brent Kaufman. Morning, Mr. Kaufman. What's your date of birth?
August 4th, 1979, Your Honor.
And Brent, you're here apparently on 2 warrants. The judge that signed the warrants found probable cause for a petty theft in each case. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the public defender and state what you tell me.
Let's see. Petty theft, 2014. Possession of cocaine, 2014. Willis, 2014. And let's see, now we got to go to another state. Give me a moment. That is all I can find right now.
Brent, I have an address for you on Impatiens Court in Homosassa. Is that where you live?
Yes, Your Honor.
How long have you been there?
8 years.
All right. You have a job these days?
No, Your Honor.
I'll set the bond at 500 on each case, so the total is 1,000. We'll have you back in court on the 20th of September. If you get out, make sure you go see the PD, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. John Marino.
Hello.
Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
4 April 1949.
Okay. John, you got 2 charges today: abuse of an elderly for a disabled person and a misdemeanor battery. There's probable cause for those 2 charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender? John, you got to back off the microphone a little. I can't hear a word you're saying.
A woman came up to me and punched me 4 times in the
Back up from the microphone, John, and just speak normally. Stand by the podium. You just don't have to, act like the microphone is somebody you missed and hadn't seen in a long time.
A woman came up to me and punched me 4 times in the face.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender. State, what can you tell me?
No prior record.
And John, I have an address for you on Cessna Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Cessna Drive, 82, 30, 83, something like that.
Okay.
2008, 8233.
Okay. All right.
I have no money.
Okay, that's all right. We don't charge where you're staying. Okay, John, I'm going to set your bond at $500. On each count, the total is $1,000. Condition of the bond is that you'll have no contact with Joyce Richter and no contact with Mark League. I'll have you back in court on September 25th. If you can't bond out, the public defender, the lawyer, will come to the jail to see you and talk about how to take care of your case, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Randy Matlock?
Yes, sir.
Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
3/15/62.
Randy, there's 2 charges today. I've got an ag assault with a deadly weapon, being a knife, and a battery, a misdemeanor battery. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Battery 2002. 2 of those. Let's see. Violation of pretrial release. 2003. Domestic battery. 2003. Prowling. 2003. Robbery by sudden snatching. 2004. Where's this one? Workers' compensation fraud. 2011. That's all I can find right now.
And Randy, I've got an address for you on East Point Court in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
5 years.
And does Mr. Nichols live there too?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No, sir. I'm disabled.
All right. I'm going to leave the bonds for the schedule, which is $2,000 on the felony, $1,000 on the misdemeanor. The total is $3,000. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Mr. Nichols. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. I have you back in court on September 25th. When you get out, make sure you go see the public defender right away, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Evan McCloskey. Morning, Evan. What's your date of birth?
5/18/98.
Evan, I guess. I have 3 warrants for you today, Evan. 2 of them were signed by Judge Rupi, 1 by Judge Merritt. The first one that Judge Rupi signed, she found probable cause for 4 counts. Sale of controlled substance being marijuana, possession of controlled substance being marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, and unlawful use of a 2-way communication device. In the second warrant, she found probable cause for the same 4 counts. And then I have a warrant signed by Judge Merritt, and he found probable cause for a violation of probation. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Or would you like the public defender?
I have an attorney already.
All right. Who's your lawyer?
I don't know his name, but he's with Miller and Watson.
Okay. Bond on the VOP, of course, is going to be no bond. I will have you back in front of Judge Merritt on that case on the 19th of September. On the two warrants that Judge Rupi signed, I'm going to leave those bonds per the warrant, which is $5,000 on the sale, $2,000 on possession, $1,000 on the other two charges. So that's a total of or $5,000 on the two-way communication device. It's a total of $13,000 on each case. So it's $26,000. Of course, you can't bond out because of the VOP. Those charges I will also send back to Judge Merritt on the 19th of September. Make sure you get a hold of your lawyer and tell him about those court dates, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Reginald Million. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
3/14/62.
All right. Reginald, we got two issues for you this morning. The first is a warrant signed by Judge Toner. He found, apparently you failed to appear in his courtroom on 28th of August relative to a charge of failure to comply with sex offender reporting requirements. And then we have 2 counts of resisting without violence. There's probable cause for all those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
No, the public defender's office.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
Let's see. Dismissed failure to register in 2002. I know he's on federal probation for weapons charges. Let's see. False statement in connection with a firearm. I think that might be part of it. And let's see. In Colorado, we've got incest with a minor in 1992, driving under the influence, possession of cocaine in 1999, carrying a concealed weapon as well.
And that incest with a minor was a 17-year-old girl when I was 24. We married and had 3 children, Your Honor. So when they say these things, they should state these facts and not make it sound like it's something it's not. And the other issue is, I have a court appearance with Judge Toner. I'm under medication. And my impression of what I was told in my paperwork is that court date was the 5th. Every court date I've had has been on the 5th. And I had no idea that there was any court date then. I've been in jail, Your Honor, for quite a while now. I haven't seen a doctor or nurse. I was kicked, spit on, and hit by the police. I was hit with a stun gun. I've asked to see a nurse and a doctor. They won't let me see either one. I couldn't even get them to give me a drink of water.
Okay, you done?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Very good. We got an address for you on Montano Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
19 years.
All right.
I own that home.
You got a job these days?
Yes, sir.
Was that a yes?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I work landscaping. I put in small landscaping.
Okay. All right.
I'm also permanently disabled, Your Honor, from cancer.
Okay. On the fail to appear, I'm going to leave the bond for Judge Stoner's warrant, which is $10,000. Condition of that bond is if you're able to bond out, you'll be subject to GPS monitoring at your expense. That case is coming back on the 25th of September. On the 2 misdemeanors, I'm going to set the bond at $5,000 each for a total of $10,000 on those, so your total is $20,000 all the way around. Those will be back on the 20th of September. If you get out, you should go see the public defender right away. If you can't get out, they'll come see you at the jail, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anthony Miller. Morning, Morning, Anthony. What's your date of birth?
8/13/94.
Anthony, you're here on a warrant signed by Judge Toner. Apparently, you failed to appear in his court in October of 15 on a charge of armed burglary. Would you like a lawyer on that case, Anthony?
Oh, no, I got one.
Okay. You got a private lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bond is no bond. Of course, I'll have you back in front of Judge Toner then on the 25th of September. Make sure your lawyer knows about that date, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Raymonte Norfleet. Morning, Raymonte. Date of birth?
5/1/90.
And state. Does Raymonte have any significant history?
The offer on the case originally was a withhold, 6 months probation, and fine and costs.
I think he was probably on my get your driver's license docket. So normally I would
Possibly.
I would give him time served unless there's some significant felony history or something like that. I don't think there was.
No, there isn't, Your Honor.
All right, Romani, you want to take time served and be done with this case this morning? What
Yes,
that
sir.
means is you plead no contest. I sentence you to 1 day in the county jail, which you already did. I would fine you $438 and $50 for the night in jail. You'd leave today as long as there's nothing else holding you there, and you don't have to come to court anymore.
Okay.
All right. You understand by entering a plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, the right to have a lawyer, but you want to give those up so we can take care of this case right now.
Yes, sir.
Case number 16 CT 4142. You admit that you drove knowing your license was suspended or revoked.
Yes, sir.
I'll accept the plea. I'll find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty of the charge. Sentence you to 1 day in the county jail. Credit 1 day served. You have fine and court costs of $438 and also $50 for the night in jail. But that takes care of it, Ramonte. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, you'll be released today. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Keith Villeneuve.
Good morning,
Keith,
sir.
what's your date of birth?
11/11/1991.
Keith, you got 2 counts of battery being domestic in nature this morning. There's probable cause for those counts. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender, sir.
I'll appoint the PD. State what you tell me.
Let's see, false ownership to a pawnbroker, 2011, burglary, 2011, dealing in stolen property, 2014, grand theft, 2011, petty theft, 2011. What is that charge? Another burglary in 2014, violation of felony probation, 2014, a domestic battery, 2014, and that's a lot of crimes in a short amount of time, but that's all I can find right now.
Okay. And Keith, I had an address for you on Spring Hill Drive. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
2 years now.
All right. And Gary and Mark live there too?
Yes, sir.
All right. You got a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Brick pavers, travertine, and top.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $500 on each count. Condition is that you not have any contact with Gary or Mark. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier this morning?
Yes, sir.
And you understood that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Also have to hold you until 4 p.m. so that if either of them want to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. When you get out, obviously, you can't stay at that address on Spring Hill Drive while this case is pending. You'll have to find someplace new to stay. But you can go by one time to grab your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need. Contact the sheriff's office before you do that. I'll have you back in court on the 25th of September. Make sure that you go see the public defender when you get out, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nathaniel Worthington.
Nowhere.
Morning, Mr. Worthington. What's your date of birth?
02/28/92.
All right. Nathaniel, you're here on a warrant signed by Judge Merritt. He found probable cause for a VOP. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender, sir.
I'll appoint the PD. Bond on that will be no bond, of course. We'll have you back in front of Judge Merritt on the 19th of September. Looks like they might have told you the 25th. The right day is the 19th. Public defender's going to come see you before then, okay?
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. And Nikki Young.
Sir.
Nikki, how you doing?
Good, sir.
All right, Nikki. We got a BOP, of course. It's a warrant I signed. Probation is looking for 120 days. You could take that this morning, but there's not really any point in taking it this morning. I can appoint you a lawyer, Nikki, and they can see if they can get you some kind of deal better than 120 days. You want a public defender?
Yes.
All right. So I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. We'll leave the bond at no bond. Gail, is the 20th my day? I think it is. All right. So, Nikki, I'll have you back on September 20th. That'll be back in front of me. The public defender will come see you before then, see if they can't get you a better deal, all right?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. And Scott, what do you know about custody? He's already told? All right, very good. Thanks, folks.